everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So let's start with some quick tips, shall we? The first thing you need to know is the difference between what to write on your Upwork bio and what to write on your Upwork proposal. Your Upwork bio is where you're trying to convince several clients that you can do a lot of their jobs in several niches. A job proposal is where you're trying to convince one client that you can do one job. So it's specific to the job and to the client. For example, when I'm writing about myself on my Upwork bio, I talk about how many years of experience I have, the big companies I've worked for, the types of romance novels I can write, all of that. But when I'm writing my proposal, I don't mention all of that except the client asks for it. What I want to mention, what I want to shine is that job. Everything that does not relate to helping the client do that specific job does not appear on my proposal. So, do my years of experience matter for a specific job? Not really. Do the big companies I've worked for matter? No, they don't. So I only talk about those things that matter or those things that would matter to that specific client because that specific client is my priority. Number two, you need to be relaxed. It is really not that deep. When you're writing your proposals, make sure to do away with words like sir, ma. Make sure to not sound desperate. I can do that job for you at a reduced cost, or I'll be happy to do it. I'm dying to do this job. You don't want to sound that desperate. You want to sound excited, but you don't want to sound desperate. Because when you are desperate, you are less confident. Clients want someone that is confident. So personally, I like to use their names. You can find their names in the review section. I like to use their names and I just like to be as casual as I can. When I sound relaxed, I sound more confident, and that is what I want to shine through. Number three, when I approach a job posting, I try to find out every single thing I can about both the job and the client. It is very important because I want that passion to convey when I'm writing the job proposal. There are three main things I look out for when I see a job posting, because I don't just look at the job posting, I scroll down and read as many reviews as I can. So these are the things I watch out for. Number one, the main problem the client wants to solve. This is very easy. It's usually on the heading. They want a romance writer to do this, or they want a copywriter to do that. That is very, very easy. The second thing is the requirements. Most of them have specific requirements. They want you to maybe be a native English speaker or be someone that can complete so amount of words in a week. I note each requirement and I make sure that I can actually do them. It is very important to note the requirements and know that you can do them. For example, I saw one job on Upwork recently. They said they want someone to write 50,000 words per week, and obviously I can't apply to that. No matter how much I want a job, I cannot write 50,000 words per week for anybody. So it is very important you know what the client wants. And the third thing, this is very important, and I see that a lot of people don't bother to do it. Number three, I try to find out why exactly they fired their former freelancers. Normally I can find this in the review section where they leave when they leave the freelancers a review. They usually talk about their experience working with their past freelancers. So I try to bring out their pain points. I want to get into their head. They had a bad experience with social freelancer. Mostly in my case as a romance writer, it's mostly due to bad deadlines or not missing deadlines. So if that is that has been their struggle so far in hiring a freelancer, I make sure to shine it through the proposal. I want them to know immediately that I'm good at missing deadlines. So it's usually one of the first lines of my proposal. So I need to get into the client's head. I need to see why they regretted hiring their past freelancer so that I will know that in my proposal I'll tell them that I would not make that kind of mistake. And combing through everything about the client is actually beneficial for you. It makes you spot red flags. When you see a client that has always been giving bad reviews, or clients that other freelancers always give them bad reviews, you don't want to work for that client. So it's better to not just apply for that job. There's a phrase in romance writing or in creative writing that is referred to as show, don't tell. So don't tell them you can build the house, show them. When I first started on Upwork, I used to do this thing where I would just, when I wrote a proposal, I would mention
I'm a romance writer. I have so many years of experience. I've done this, I've done that.
Instead of telling them, because that is just telling them, nowadays I like to show them. How do I show them? Now, instead of telling, I don't even, it is rare that I mention that I'm a romance writer in my proposal. That is what the bio is for. But what I do now is just ask questions. And when I ask questions, I talk about things that only creative writers would understand. I talk about whether they want a fast-paced plot or a slow-paced plot. I talk about characterization. I talk about dialogue. I talk about plotting devices. I mention phrases that only romance writers would understand. It doesn't even matter to me if the clients understand what I'm talking about or not. But I know that when I phrase questions like that, even if they might not even be able to answer the questions, when I phrase questions like that, they will know enough to understand that this person has a firm idea of romance writing and they are very good at it. And that is what I want to convey. So, talk and ask questions about parts of your work or parts of your skill that some clients might not understand. Obviously, they might not understand. If they understood that well, they will not be looking for a freelancer. But when you convey questions, intelligent questions like that, they understand that you might be the right person for the job because you know exactly what they need and you know your skill very well. My proposals are usually very simple. They are less than 500 words and they're usually about three paragraphs because I don't want to overwhelm the client. I don't want to talk too much. I just want them to know that I'm the right person for the job. So, this is what I do in each paragraph. I give the normal standard greeting. I mention their name if I can find it in the review section, and I get straight to business. Number one, the first thing I do in paragraph one is to just reinstate the client's needs immediately. I have snooped around their profile and everything. I know exactly what they are looking for. So if they are clients that have problems with freelancers sticking to deadlines, I mention it instantly. Hello, Joe. I see you are looking for a romance writer who is creative and who can stick, and more importantly, who sticks to deadlines. Sometimes I can even write those words in bold, deadlines in bold, so they know I am really serious about it. Then I say, oh, I think we might be a great fit. So that paragraph is really short. I don't really do much there. But sometimes, if I see that the client actually needs a lot of reaffirmations, some clients will talk about how they need someone that is creative, how they need someone that is blah blah blah. I talk about it there. Sometimes I have, for example, there was this client. I'm now working with the client that talked about how he's looking for a damn good romance writer. So when I messaged him, I was like, "Hi, damn good romance writer here." So this is also where I try to crack jokes. If I have jokes, they always feel what I try. So and I use a lot of emojis too because again it is not that deep. I just want to feel and sound relaxed. So after I've reinstated their needs, I've talked about why I'm a good fit. I go to paragraph two. So in paragraph two, I usually start showing them I'm a good fit. I already mentioned I show them I'm a good fit by asking questions, but that's what I do in paragraph three. For paragraph two, again I reinstate their needs. I talk about their work briefly. Oh, you mentioned you are seeking this kind of romance writer. Actually, I've done that kind of job in the past for this client. I have attached a few samples below. Please go through them and tell me which one you like. Tell me which sample aligns closely with the style you have in mind. If none of them align, then tell me so that I can understand what exactly you are looking for. Stuff like that we actually is what I call a call to action. I've had clients message me telling me, oh, I like that particular sample. If you work for me, I want you to write exactly like that. And that is exactly what I want because if I attach a lot of samples, I want them to pick one that they like most and tell me, you are giving them an option and they don't want to message you telling them this is what I like best. It has happened many times for me. And also, you might ask, I'm a new freelancer. I don't have any samples. When I was a new freelancer and I did not have any samples, if I saw a job posting I really liked, I would actually go and write a new sample for the clients. So if this is something you'll be willing to do, it would help you a lot. So in paragraph three, I ask questions. I've mentioned it before. So when I ask questions, I usually ask a maximum of three questions. I ask questions using phrases that only romance writers would probably know about. And again, I keep it minimum and I make them know that I'm really interested. Then finally, I just give them a call to action, another call to action. Even the questions are a kind of call to action because I have had people message me just because they wanted to answer my question. But then the final call to action is when I tell them about how I'm really willing to schedule a video interview because I am ready to bring your project to life. I am really interested in it. And again, I have also had clients message me because they wanted a video interview. They want to see you, they want to trust you. And I do that as well. Then finally, I sign my name and I wait back for them to message me if they. These are a few more things to note about my job proposals. Number one, I write my job proposals intentionally as if I've gotten the job already. So I do not use statement like if you give me this job, I promise I will do this or do that. I write like, so what would you want me to do in cases of this? Would you prefer me to plot or do you have a plotter available? Stuff like that. That level of confidence is actually attractive to clients. I know it makes me feel relaxed when I'm writing the job post. It makes me remember that nothing will happen if I don't get this job. It's just another day. I just have to try again. So the second thing I do is that I show my excitement towards them. I use smiley faces, exclamation marks. I talk about how what I would love to work with you. I love your project. Again, I don't want to sound desperate, but I want to sound excited. I want them to know that I really like their job. I want them to feel like I saw a lot of job postings, but I picked theirs in particular. I also change my proposal. I don't use a simple format. I mentioned my paragraph 3 there usually involves questions. Sometimes it changes. Sometimes if the proposal is so detailed that there are no questions to ask, I outline the steps I would take to do the job. I talk about every single detail, every single thing I will do to get the jobs, every single thing. So some clients like that because I noticed that some clients are actually desperate for people that will tell them exactly how to do the job. Sometimes I don't even ask questions or outline anything. I just put a call to action there. It all depends on the type of clients. You don't want to be too rigid with your proposals. You don't want a format where you copy and paste because they would not give you job.